If you are a parent with school-age children, obviously back to school is on your mind no matter where you live in the country. It's great to have the kids in the classroom, but you worry about safety. You worry about, ultimately, their health and the health of their teachers. The Alberta Teachers Association has those concerns as well. Let's bring in Jason Schilling. He's the president of the association. And Jason, I want to give us the lay of land in Alberta in terms of a safe return to school and some of the concerns you might have about that.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me on today. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, school's returning this week, and I know that teachers want to return to school, and I know that students do as well. We did a survey during the pandemic that said teachers were missing school, missing their students, but as we re-enter school, we do have some concerns about the plan and the scenario, and social distancing and class size is one of the highest issues that teachers have right now, and it's causing a lot of anxiety for that.
That seems to be the tough one. I mean, I know we're having the same discussions in this province and in my community, but the fact that we're told when we go out, stay 2 meters apart, wear a mask, and try to limit your contact with others. But as soon as you put kids back in that environment and back in the classroom, it seems to be a pretty tall order. To your way of thinking, is there a safe way to do it? I mean, can we put students back in the classroom in a safe way?
Well, there's ways around working to make sure that kids and staff are safe in schools, because their concern for a lot of teachers and staff is, their own safety, their student safety. But when they go home at the end of the day and they're with their families, we need to try to reduce class sizes as much as possible where we can. And I think we need to look at classes that are over 30 and 40 and split those. And it requires us to hire teachers and put people in the building and to make sure that there's enough staff and PPE available to maintain health protocols throughout the course of the day. So we need custodians who are cleaning throughout the day and assisting teachers with that work, because teachers are going to be busy teaching and trying to maintaining social distancing within their classrooms. And it's going to be different this year. We need to make sure that we are also addressing the mental health aspect of our students and our staff when we come to school in the fall. It's going to be a big component. And we need to take a look at how we are working with substitute teachers as well, because they will be an important factor if people become ill, and making sure that we have enough substitute teachers around. And I think as we work on these plans moving forward, we need to make sure that governments and public health are in consultation with teachers and teacher associations, because teachers are the ones who are in the classroom trying to take medical plans created by the chief medical officers of health in all the provinces and applying them in an education setting. And we need teachers involved in those conversations, because when we don't have teachers involved with that, we get miscommunication and a lack of clarity on some of the provisions that are being applied.
What is the relationship like right now with the province? Obviously, we're back to school is right on top of us. Is there a good line of communication, or are things getting a little tense?
Well, we've had some communications with government in the creation of the plan, and once it was announced, sort of clarifying the plan became more difficult. Recently, we've had several conversations with Minister and their staff about our concerns, but we've yet to see them address those concerns as we move forward, and that's an extremely frustrating part of this process. We have teachers who are anxious, we have teachers who don't even know what they're teaching, and their students are starting tomorrow or the day after because parents are still opting to go online in class. It's throwing everything in the air, and it's causing a lot of anxiety. If teachers were involved in these conversations from the get-go, we wouldn't be seeing the issues that we are right now.
When we talk about what we saw in the early stages of the pandemic, it was keeping the students at home, figuring out some sort of online learning. To your mind, was the online learning bridging that gap, or was it lacking? I mean, even in the quality of instruction that the kids get.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. You have a whole way of doing things for teachers and parents and school that was changed overnight, the flick of a switch, and everybody was asked to do everything differently, online, remote teaching, and we learned that there was a lot of inequalities there. Students who don't have access to technology, students who are living in poverty or unsafe environments were unable to make school a priority. It wasn't perfect, and teachers were resilient and creative and did the best that they could. We've had more time to think about what that would look like if we should transition into the scenario that has a hybrid model or back to remote teaching, but we have no idea of what the parameters are or what the benchmarks are that would cause that transition into the new scenarios. So it's difficult for teachers and schools and staff to plan how do we move from one to the other and make sure that it's effective and that we're getting the best learning for our students.
I've got less than a minute left, but I wanted to pick up on that point, Jason, because as a parent, I think about this too. What are the parameters to have them sent back home in terms of an outbreak at the school? You're saying you don't have a clear idea of what that criteria is?
Well, they talk about community spread. We talk about outbreaks and contact, and they will do it a case-by-case scenario. But we still need more clarity, I think, from government and the Chief Medical Officer of Health about what that actually looks like. And there are some provisions that came out on how to deal with an outbreak. But schools basically just got that a week and a half ago. They need time to sit down and figure out what they're doing with those plans and how it would apply to their schools.
Mm-hmm. Jason, well, thanks for joining us and going through that stuff with us. I know as a parent and other parents, we have a lot of the same questions. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks very much.
Jason Schilling is the president of the Alberta Teachers Association.